Merhaba from Keswick Village. This is the Rorschach Turkey update from the 26th of November 2024. A quick summary of what's going down in Turkey. On Friday the 22nd, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the former Republican People's Party or CHP leader, appeared in court over a lawsuit accusing him of insulting President Erdogan. The case involves Kılıçdaroğlu's 2014 statement calling Erdogan, quote, the head of thieves, end quote. He faces a political ban and up to 11 years in prison. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse after Kılıçdaroğlu called for solidarity. Özgür Özel, the current CHP leader, Mansur Yavaş, the Ankara mayor, and other political figures attended to show support. In his testimony, Kılıçdaroğlu argued that he was not on trial for bribery or treason, but for speaking the truth by calling out theft. He explained that his purpose was not self-defense, but to expose wrongdoing and hold those responsible accountable, asserting that his statements reflected reality rather than defamation. Also on Friday, Turkey's Interior Ministry appointed trustees to replace the Tunceli province mayor from the People's Equality and Democracy Party and Tunceli's Ovacık district mayor from the CHP. Both were removed due to ongoing terrorism investigations. A court sentenced the mayors to over 6 years in prison for terrorism charges, though their appeals are pending. They had been elected in March's local elections. Protests erupted across the country. Locals in Tunceli gathered to denounce the decision, but police intervened, barricading the municipality building. They arrested the citizens trying to pass through. The removals were called into question as they might have been undemocratic, part of a broader crackdown on opposition-held municipalities, and a deliberate distraction from the Kılıçdaroğlu case, shifting attention away from criticism of Erdogan by creating a new headline. On Wednesday the 20th, 3 deputies from the Nationalist Movement Party, or MHP, which is part of the ruling alliance, stepped down amid an internal investigation. Their departures followed accusations of involvement in a gold smuggling ring, first reported by dissident journalist Timur Soykan. The Justice Minister stated that there was no formal judicial inquiry into the 3. However, Soykan's reports suggest the smuggling ring could involve more politicians, including senior MHP figures and a former lawmaker from the ruling Justice and Development Party. The investigation is still underway, with 2 security officers arrested at Istanbul airport in connection with the case. Next up, on Thursday the 21st, the Interior Minister stirred controversy during the 2025 budget talks when he blamed some women for their own murders. Responding to a question about femicides, he suggested that certain women failed to follow warnings linked to protection orders. He said that last year, despite the state's efforts, 32 women ignored safety guidelines, leading to their deaths. His remarks sparked backlash, with women's organizations accusing him of lacking an understanding of violence. The Mor Çatı Women's Shelter Foundation argued that women sometimes comply with the abuser's demands out of fear and stressed that effective state protection, not blaming victims, is key to combating femicides. The foundation emphasized the importance of gender equality and support services to truly address this serious issue. On Wednesday the 20th, President Erdogan criticized the United States for allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles against Russian territory, warning it could escalate and prolong the conflict. This followed Ukraine's use of U.S.-supplied missiles earlier this week, approved by the United States. On the same day, Vladimir Putin, Russia's president, approved a policy lowering the threshold for nuclear weapon use in response to conventional attacks, heightening tensions further. Erdogan expressed fears that the U.S. decision could worsen regional instability and make peace more difficult to achieve. Speaking of international relations, the government has reportedly enlisted the Central Anatolian Exporters Association to enforce its trade ban with Israel, which slowed exports in recent weeks. This move followed public criticism, saying that the increase in shipments to Palestinian territories since the trade ban with Israel was established might actually be helping trade sneak through. The Trade Ministry instructed the association to impose stricter checks, including approvals from Palestinian authorities to prevent goods from reaching Israel. The new system, implemented in mid-October, caused delays as exporters adapted to the additional vetting process. Meanwhile, Turkish officials are grappling with a maritime issue. On Wednesday, the 20th, the Foreign Ministry reported that Houthi forces, an Iranian-aligned Islamist political and military organization, attacked Anadolu S, a Panama-flagged, Turkish-owned cargo ship off the coast of Yemen. The ship, last tracked in the Red Sea nearly 5 days earlier, was expected to arrive at Port Qasim on Saturday the 23rd, according to Marine Traffic. The ministry said it had taken steps to prevent similar incidents in the future. On Monday the 25th, Mark Rutte, the NATO Secretary General, visited Turkey for the first time since taking office in October. Rutte served as the Netherlands Prime Minister until 2024. Turkey was one of the last countries to endorse his candidacy, but approved it in April. Rutte met President Erdogan in Ankara to discuss the war in Ukraine, violence in the Middle East, terrorism, NATO's 2026 summit in Turkey, and defense cooperation. He also toured Turkish aerospace industries, where an October attack killed 5 people. He offered condolences and reviewed ongoing projects. While NATO bolsters its defenses, Turkey's drug market is struggling to shield itself from mounting challenges. On Thursday, the 21st, Nurten Saydan, the head of the Turkish Pharmacists Employers Union, criticized the government for promoting the inclusion of just 18 drugs in reimbursement schedules, while over 900 drug licenses had been canceled in the past 2 years. Saydan pointed out that pharmaceutical companies are pulling out of Turkey, making it harder for people to access new and innovative medications. She also noted that only 6% of the latest medicines are available in the country. The high exchange rate, which now stands at almost 36 Turkish liras per dollar, is driving up prices and making it difficult to import or produce drugs locally, as raw materials are expensive. Saydan warned that these policies could eventually harm Turkey's ability to produce its own medicines. In other news, on Wednesday the 20th, Izmir branches of the Education and Science Workers Union reported that many schools damaged by the October 2020 earthquake in western Izmir province remain incomplete, despite rebuilding efforts. This has led to schools operating in shared buildings, forcing students into overcrowded dual or triple shift systems. The union criticized the delays, citing a lack of funding as the main issue, and called for urgent action to rebuild the demolished schools and address the ongoing strain on education. Speaking of schools, on Tuesday the 26th, heavy snowfall across Turkey disrupted transportation and education, with classes canceled in at least 24 provinces. Snow and blizzards blocked roads, leaving many stranded. Rescue teams saved people trapped on roads and in highlands. Authorities issued weather alerts as conditions worsened in central Turkey. On to the economy, on Thursday the 21st, the central bank decided to keep its policy interest rate at 50% for the 8th month in a row. The bank explained that inflation risks remain, and it will maintain this policy until it sees a clear and lasting drop in monthly inflation trends. While inflation is declining, the bank aims to reduce it further by lowering domestic demand, strengthening the Turkish lira, and improving inflation expectations. And to close this edition, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to nominate Mehmet Oz, the Turkish-American physician, to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. Trump highlighted Oz's extensive medical background and education, including his Harvard degree, as key qualifications to tackle America's healthcare challenges. CMS oversees Medicare, a federal insurance program for those over 65, and Medicaid, a joint federal and state program for low-income individuals. Trump emphasized the importance of addressing these programs as part of his administration's priorities, amid what he described as a growing health crisis. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. We've got a super quick survey to help us make the show better, and we'd love your feedback. The link's in the show notes. We know you might be driving, doing your grocery run, or wondering what the show notes even are, but it'll take you less than 2 minutes to fill out, and your feedback helps us keep the updates coming. Thanks so much. Hoşça kalın.